Yeah, I
Yeah.
see a lot of your tweets. It's a lot good like analytical stuff, like
Yeah, that's
about
what I like to focus on. It makes it easy to come up with tweets too. You just talk
yeah,
about what you're doing.
just practical things.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's great. You said you started on Instagram like first
I did.
was one of the,
I
early
did.
things.
That was
So,
that was because of photography, right? I was
yeah,
taking
photography.
photos, and I wanted to share them somewhere, and so I thought
Yeah,
I'd try Instagram out, and I got more into it as I was going along there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Instagram's great. Yeah, I post a lot there. Um, so
It,
since you're on it and I'm on it, a lot of people seeing this are probably on it.
yeah.
I see you have like 1,000 followers, and it's not just 1,000 followers. Like your brand is a
Hmm.
personal brand. Like I
Right.
look at your posts and there's like 50 likes, 100 likes of actual
Hmm.
people, liking your stuff. So from your experience doing Instagram, because
Hmm.
you're better than me at this, um, how would you go about like building a community, a fan base on Instagram and 2024, 25? Like what do
Yeah.
you think are some good ways to build personal brand on Instagram nowadays?
Yeah, I mean, I guess what's been working for me is that I try to make it just like we said, you said personal brands. I try to make a lot of the content fairly personal in the sense that I tell a story or I tell something about, if I share a photo, I talk about what is the connection of that photo with me or with my life, and makes it
Yep.
more engaging. You see sometimes people post photos, and it just says, Barcelona, Spain, such and such a date or what have you, and
Yeah.
it's like that's great. It's a nice photo, but you don't really get a lot out of it, and there's not really a reason to connect with that creator
Yeah,
because
like you
you
attach
can,
it to a person and
yeah,
it's 100 times more valuable, the
yeah, for
personal brand
sure.
side.
So I think that's been, I think that's been one of the keys to the success, and then just also being consistent, all the normal
Yeah.
stuff. I got better at engaging with other people too, on not just in replying to comments on my account, but actually going over to their accounts, commenting on their posts, commenting on other people's posts who, as I'm kind of going through and kind of building those connections. And I think that's really important for like building a community. You have it's that whole idea of reciprocity, right? If you want to get engagement, you've got to give engagement to other people, and
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that that's been important too. And then just always trying to improve the content, like I was saying, just being analytical. Why did that piece work or why did that not work? And trying to continually improve on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the first way I got one of my clients was by doing the engaging on other people's posts, like
Right.
reciprocity. I don't have many clients, but he
Yeah.
just came to me because,
Yeah.
reciprocity, reciprocal, whatever that's the
That's
cognitive
right.
bias.
And it's
Yeah.
like it's the know, like, and trust factor, right? Like as
Yeah.
you if you're having a personal brand, again, sharing stuff about yourself, people get to know you. Then they hopefully they start to like you, and then they're more likely to work with you than even if your skill level is maybe not as high as somebody else, that they see their content, and they're also a creator offering similar services. But if they feel like they know you and they feel like, okay, that's someone I could work with, or that's someone who gets my brand or is likely to get it, they're going to be more likely to work with you. So I guess the question is like, how do you create more of that? Part of it is engagement. Part of it is also, I think, long form as opposed to short form
Yeah.
content, because the short form content is great for awareness and reaching a lot of people, but it's not quite as effective in building that. I guess they call them parasocial relationships, or relationships with people that you have that are in your audience, but you may not interact with them directly in person, but they kind of know you online, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and the longer videos too is much better for building that no like trust factor you talked
Yeah,
about. Like just
absolutely.
people seeing you for a longer time. Like I trust and like people more, when I
Hmm.
watch long form stuff. Because when you watch shorts,
Yeah.
it's a good dopamine hit, like 20, 30 seconds. But
Hmm.
like I never end up like buying something from someone or even just like really appreciating them as a
Yeah.
creator from like a short as much.
Yeah,
So
and you
that's
don't
super important.
you have a much greater chance to do a deep dive into a topic and really showcase your expertise as opposed to like a
Yeah.
short. It's like quick tips and stuff. And I mean, I guess if somebody watches enough of those by you, they might develop the same kind of relationship. It's just, I think it's just harder. The other thing I like about long form content is that it becomes like a long-term asset, I guess, that you
Yeah.
can refer people to. So I was talking with some other creators, and I asked one guy that was on my podcast about he talked about fitness, right? And he's a fitness creator. I'm like, well, I have a podcast as a fitness creator, and he's like, it's to build my expertise, and it also gives me something that I can refer prospective clients to. It's like, what's it like to work with me? Okay, I watch a few episodes of my podcast, and they're well done. So I think he does get traffic through that.
Yeah. And I mean, like you said, long form and short form, like they both are super valuable. And like
Hmm.
I'll ask AI a lot,
Yeah.
like stuff about because I think it's better than me at making decisions because it's like non-emotional. It's just pure like analytical,
Hmm.
practical. So I'll ask it stuff and I'll be like, should I do this or should I make this video? Or should I
Right.
focus on this or this? And like almost every time it just says hybrid, like do
Mm.
both. Because I
Yeah.
mean, everything, both short form, long form, highly edited videos,
Right.
authentic videos, podcast, shorts, everything like has its advantage. It's almost like you put everything together and
That's
it's
right.
like that's the best if you have a little bit of everything versus
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
too extreme in like one area.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned that because I've kind of been binge watching Gary Vaynerchuk and Alex Hormozi videos,
Yeah,
switching between one and the other. They're both very successful creators, right? But they have very different approaches to how they recommend you go about it. So Gary V's more like create organic content like 24/7, share it with your audience, several times a day across multiple platforms. It's not very focused, right? And you can see that even in his business
yeah,
ventures. He's got multiple things. He's got Vaynerchuk Media. He's got like, I don't know, VCon. He's got like all these trading cards. He was into NFTs. It's like he's into something new every time that
yeah. One of those like
you
action
tune into
people.
his.
Just
Yeah,
always, I'm kind of like that too. Like
yeah,
so many different things. Like I
exactly.
start
And then
something and then just on to the next thing,
yeah,
the
yeah, and
next
then
thing.
there's Alex Hormozy on the other hand, right? Who
Yeah,
says like the thing that you got to do is
one thing.
prune. Yeah, one thing. Like you just be on Instagram, be an Instagram creator, become amazing at that. And I think there's some truth to that. But here's what I found. Like I was doing that for a while. I was just doing the X app and YouTube, and I was like just gonna go all in on those two things. But I found um, it did really did hurt my overall reach. Like my podcast views did start going down over time because I wasn't engaging with all those other people on the other platforms. And the other thing was I found it like it made my thinking a little staler because I was just interacting and
Yeah,
reading content from, the same circle of people on the X app or YouTube. Gives you a much more expanded view if you're into multiple things, right? And it gives you more content ideas, helps you talk on podcasts like this because you're kind of more knowledgeable, you're more connected. So I've decided I need to do a happy medium. So like maybe I have two or three distribution platforms and then have the YouTube podcast as the main thing.